Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM22 One Club story from Hemel Hempstead Town with me, Daniel. It's part 48 today and we are back for two very big games in League One. We face early season promotion favourites Wigan, who are struggling well down in a relegation scrap, and in high-flying Solihull at home, who are up in 4th place and one of the few sides at the moment that look like they could stop us. As it is, us and Morecambe seem to be running away with it. It is early days, but you might be right. We really had a different air of confidence at the start of this season, and I know we had that little blip before deadline day, but the addition of Farcarsson at the back, the strength in depth we've got across the squad, is really paying dividends now we're playing 2 games a week. We've also managed to throw ourselves out of the EFL trophy, so we've got one less hurdle in terms of games to worry about. But there are a few murmurings of discontent from some of those outside the current 11. So, with international weekend upon us now, Joseph and Nydam among those away, it is going to be a very interesting week and one that could be season defining. We'll wait and see. If you're looking forward to it and you are enjoying the series, finally some hope in League 2 rather than just scrapping for survival, please do put a thumbs up on it. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from 2 long-term stories. We had deadline day yesterday with our director of football in the head coach. That one will be back tomorrow at 3:30, and in this one in 2 days' time as we head in towards the festive period and really the nuts and bolts of our promotion push. There's links to other playlists and content up in the eye above. If all has been well, I will have been at Boreham Wood v AFC Wimbledon in the FA Cup yesterday. There should be some podcast videos and a couple of shorts over here relating to that. But thank you as always for your incredible support as we reflect on a pretty good month or so with Hemel Hempstead Town. I think the thing I'm most pleased about this season is actually evidenced on this screen. Last year we panicked towards the end of the window. We changed our transfer philosophy, and we got in players that we thought would fill voids. Jordan Stevens, a 6-figure signing, a couple of other quite big ones, and it just didn't work. The wages were astronomical and we got no return for it. This year, when we came back at the start of the season, we highlighted 2 key signings. One of them is the top scorer with the most Player of the Match awards. The other one is the highest average rating with the most assists in the season so far. We couldn't ask for more than that. We've got exactly what we needed out of this team, and those 2 have been absolute gems. We've managed to rest the 2 this week. They didn't touch the pitch in the Exeter game, and I don't think they featured against Crewe either. But let's have a look at the schedule for what's been happening since you were last with me. And you know how we're doing well, because this season we have been offered 3 job interviews. 2 of them at the bottom of League 2. Tranmere, who sacked their manager after we drew with them. Doncaster, who we beat away in September. And then, a little bit more bizarrely, Crewe, the week before the FA Cup first round, offered us the job. We managed to beat them in the end. We've drawn Chesterfield in a second round, another League One side, Crewe a second bottom, Chesterfield a bottom. So the FA Cup draw may be being a little bit kinder to us, who knows. Let's have a look at the results here though. You were with me for Colchester and Cambridge. We've had 7 matches since that one. 5 in a league and then 2 successive cup ties. We started with a bizarre game away at bottom side Crawley. It was 1-1 at the break, but a late red card in that first half had given Crawley something to worry about. Javan Malcolm had got us back on terms. Early second half goals from McGinley and Brian Watt, both from set pieces, made it, we thought, comfortable. But then they got a goal back. They were having chances galore. Javan Malcolm thankfully got a 4th. And even then, Crawley had time to give us a late grandstand, but we still got the victory in the end. Away at Barrow, we won by 3-1. Ricky J. Jones in with a hat-trick. We should have won that game by about 16, honestly. It was that one-sided. A 1-1 draw at home to Tranmere as the 2 games a week just caught up a bit. But last season, we would have lost that 3-0 and had to rest everyone. This time around, we managed to get a point despite 4 or 5 changes to what we would play normally. Brandon Brian Watt with the goal there. A 1-0 win at home to Rochdale. Will Swan turning up with another one of his beauties. Doesn't play well that often this season, but my word, does he score important goals. He knows when to turn up all right. A 2-1 win followed away at Wickham. Ricky J. Jones and Scott Egan with a header late on. Sam Nombe, a former Luton player in real life, banging them in for Exeter as well this season. He's starting to look like a bit of a gem there. Gave us trouble all day long. But back-to-back cup games started with a 2-1 win at home to League One Crewe. And look at it, it was a last-minute special. There were 3 minutes added on, and we scored in the 4th. Ross Marshall, the sub-centre half in an already rotated team, came on and got the winner after James Daly had given us the lead. And then away at Exeter in the EFL Trophy, Lewis Wing and Keon Atete in an awful first half performance for us put Exeter 2 up. Stuart Parry got one later on in the second half, but it wasn't enough. The 3 changes did make a difference though. So now we come into one of the busiest stretches of the season. You can see we've got these 2 big games now. Next month in the middle, if the league's still as it is, we will be back for Morecambe and Grimsby, because Morecambe are second, Grimsby are third, and we've got them away from home on successive days. That could be pretty spectacular. Let's go and get into the first one today though, away to Wigan in the league. And when we get there and show you the 11, you can see why perhaps we're starting to have a few struggles. So a couple of worries in this team. Firstly, a few players unhappy. Marshall's got a promise, Daly's got a promise. They either want to be loaned out or play more football. Lewis Brunt has agreed to leave now. He's going to Swindon. We tried to get Brookwell pre-agreed as a replacement again, the man we went for on deadline day. And he's opted to stay at Mansfield now and he's all happy there again. So that's given us a slight concern on that area. However, we've got a few others that are struggling a little bit. Nydam wanted to go out on loan. He's now away on international duty. And Joseph unhappy, we dropped his squad status. However, we've got some improving players in the team. G-Cock, the best trainer every week. He's been really reliable in goal, which after last year with Boot is a lovely thing to have. Ricky J. Jones improving, 10 goals, now 3.5 star, our best player on the pitch. Egan, not far behind him, has started to find last season's form. And everyone else is ticking along quite nicely. We've got a back 4 today in front of G-Cock of McDonough, McGinley, the fullbacks with Brian Watt and Farcarson at centre-half. Egan, Alidor Hamilton, Arthur Reed and Will Swan are the midfield diamonds. And then Javan Malcolm, slightly out of form, alongside Ricky J. Jones up front. I think it's 4-5 now since he scored. So I tell you what, we'll go and give him that little famous chat. We're going to criticise his recent form. We're going to say, you haven't scored many recently, but I have every faith in you to get back to it. And if you could pick today to do that, that would be absolutely lovely. I mean, with the way Ricky J. Jones is going, with the goals that the subs have scored, I'd almost like that $500,000 offer to come again in the winter. Whether it will, it'll probably depend on the next month and a half. Let's see if we can get the win at Wigan, a side that are struggling, but have plenty of quality on the pitch. Well, it's just the 11 changes for us since the cup tie midweek. 4 for Wigan, our opponents. But look at the starting lineup. One of the players that rejected us to go there, a former loan player here, Callon Hazeman, who this time last year was putting in good performances for us. We've also seen there Callum Lang, a player we had at Sheffield Wednesday in the head coach, a really good League One or Championship standard player. Luke Bolton at right back, a former Luton youth player. We had him at Dundee United in our live stream series here last year. There's so many familiar players, and how they're in the bottom 6 in League 2, I will never ever know. But let's go and tell the lads to prove a point. Let's worry about ourselves for now. We've got most of the players motivated. Ricky J. Jones is in goal scoring form. Let's see if it pays dividends as Wigan go from the kickoff. Bolton has it at right back. Normally a bit more natural going further forward, either as a wing back or as a winger. And he gives away possession there as Brian Moore plays out to McGinley. Brian Moore again in possession. Finds Reed. Into midfield for Swan, who's got acres of space there. Finds Malcolm. Up to Ricky J. Jones. Malcolm off him to Swan. Wonderful football. Brilliant interchange. And Ricky J. Jones just curls it wide from the edge of the box. That is scintillating football and a brilliant first minute. Doesn't quite happen for us here though, as it falls for Whelan at left back for Wigan to Woodman. Up to the centre forwards, they've got nice runners themselves here. Samuel's one of them on the left. We're only 1 minute and 10 seconds in, and we've already had opportunities and territory at both ends of the pitch. Hazeman gets it wide to Bolton, to Callum Lang. We talked about his quality, and that was not a million miles away. 1.5 minutes gone. Looks like it's going to be a great game. Problem, 10 minutes gone. Ricky J. Jones has a knock. Only a bruised ankle, and we've got a week off after, so we'll try and get him through at least 60 minutes. And there are good strikers on the bench in fairness, but it's not the message we wanted this early on. Farcarson gets it at the back to Brian Moore. He plays back to his keeper G-Cock, who's got time on it. 2-footed, plays out to Farcarson. Now McDonough. Back to his centre-half again. To Hamilton. Up to Ricky J. Jones. Malcolm will be making that run, but it's short for now. Swan. Up to Malcolm. Jones is running off him. He's found him. To Hamilton. To Jones. Got a 2-on-1 here. Jones goes alone. Forced a little bit wide. Gets it across to Swan, though. And Will Swan only scores important goals. He only scores goals that will win you or draw you a game. He doesn't score the little tap-ins at 4 or 5-0. 1-0 Hemel Hempstead Town. And again, pretty much deserved based on our start. Well, it is half time. Ricky J. Jones has the assist, but he is still struggling physically, and we would be foolish to risk him. So he's going to come off. Malcolm will go as the advance forward, and either Parry or Daly on as the poacher. I don't know which is stronger, to be honest. Parry is training pretty well, but Daly is a very good footballer, and I feel he's not getting the opportunities he deserves here. Maybe he is the better for the poacher role, but I'm going to bring on the youngster Parry. We're away from home, we want pace, we want counter-attacking finesse. What I'm most happy about at the moment, though, is 2 different saves, 2 completely different tactics, and both working in their very own way. 10 minutes gone in the second half, Hemel still 1 up, and look at the fitness advantage we've got here too. Wigan look absolutely knackered, out on their feet. They've already made all their subs as well. 25 minutes to go from our point of view. Just going to give it 5 more. And then I think we'll make a change or two. Because Alador Hamilton is struggling a little bit. So I'm going to bring on Graham Park for him. And then we'll give it 5 more before maybe looking at one of the defenders. Or perhaps even Arthur Reed or Egan, who's struggling physically. So Egan is the man looking most tired. We've got Lewis Brunt. We've got Lloyd. I mean, Lloyd's never let us down there. Let's bring him on. We've got to look after Scott Egan. He's got the physical presence. He's got the set-piece presence. He's got everything. And physically, we are the better side. As Reed puts the corner in. Outswinger to the back post. McGinley down for Brandon Bryan Moore. And he is another man who has changed my view on FM this year. I used to hate loaning out my better younger players because I didn't feel they developed at the same rate. He's gone on loan to the National League South. He's gone on loan to the National League. And now he's one of the best defenders in League 2. A 2-0 win at Wigan. A brilliant performance. I know they're struggling, but they're a good side on paper, and that was a banana skin. A brilliant performance to keep us top of the league. If we beat Solihull, I'll say it, we're favourites for promotion. Back in a moment. Well, back for a very big game at the top of League 2. We've had some injury troubles in the week. Farcarson and Reed both picking up short knocks, but both seem to be fit and fully available and conditioned for this one. We are top of League 2, but Solihull, one of those sides chasing the top 3. They are 9 points behind, and if they win this, it suddenly becomes a very close race again. I think it's certain without doubt that we're going to be a top 7 side this year. What we want to do is make it certain we're a top 3 one. And so far, the signs have been very good. We've got to back it up though. Let's see if we can do so. Big game against Solihull. It's the start of 3 games in a week as well. So we have got to look at little fitness issues as they crop up. But if we look at the 11 that played last weekend, I mean, I'm pretty happy all of that's fit because they have had a week off. The only one I'm questioning is whether we take out Javan Malcolm for a game. We've got quality across the squad. Do we give Daly a go? I don't see why not. Parry's a potential option there too. But I'm going to be bold. James Daly is in for Javan Malcolm. The rest of the lineup speaks for itself. And I don't think there's going to be any changes on the bench either. Perhaps DJ Heath could come back for Brunt. But then we've got to change one of the others for fitness. So do we take that risk? It would be good to have a midfielder in. And then we could bring in Berry for Lloyd perhaps. I think that's the lineup. Or maybe even Joseph and go a little bit more aggressive. Because Will Swan is really the only option in that 10 role. And if we can keep him fit by giving him a 20-minute rest, if we do go 2 or 3 up, could make a massive difference to our season. So that's the lineup. Just the one change up front, a surprise one. Daly in for the out of form Malcolm. Now let's go and see if we can beat one of those promotion contenders and really cement our place in this top 3. Joe Sabara is into the team for Paul Digby. 2 very good young players at the start of the game in FM. Who else have they got in there? Lewis is a solid keeper. They've got Oganteo. We had him on loan in the National League South all the way back in the first season. What a player he was. Callum Maycock's a good midfielder. They've still got a few of their originals, to be fair. It's a pretty good effort from Solihull. They're flying in League 2. We're going to ask the lads to prove a point again. We've got most of the lads motivated. But with Bradford in 3 days' time, another game we're going to need to get results from. This becomes even more important. It's been a decent start, but no highlights yet. 10 gone, still goalless. And as we reach the 20-minute mark, it's Solihull who have a throw, but McGinley nicks it in at left-back. Comes down the line with the ball. No real pressure on him. It's got to be said, actually, Gillespie, who's on the bench today, has also complained about his football this week. So we've agreed to loan him out in January as Jones gets it in the box. Great ball across. Daly shots blocked. I told you, he only scores important goals. And Will Swan has decided that today he needs to score in both games. So he's turned up, he's scored the goals, and that should mean we're not going to lose. But Daly credited with the assist. Ricky J. Jones did all the legwork. It's the front 3 combining. It's all we can ask for. Whoever comes in is brilliant. It's not like last year where we had one of the old non-league stars in Sedende who was trying to compete at a higher level. It's not where we had injuries in midfield and we were bringing in anyone we could out wide, putting square pegs in round holes when it came to the likes of Armstrong, pushing Stevens further forward than he probably should have been. We have now got a team that can compete going forward. We've got to be solid at the back though, as Ogenteo, our former player, found Sabara. Switch of play intercepted. McGinley finds Daly. He releases Ricky J. Jones. Brilliant long ball. Oh, James Daly, what a team selection that was. Comes into the team. He's one of those players in the summer, when you look at him, you don't understand why. The fans were unhappy we signed him because he was in an awful run of goal scoring form, but then he scored in his debut in the Cup. And since then, he's not played much, but he's always done all right. 2 assists today, the best player on the pitch for us so far. And at half-time, we've brought in a backup striker, and we already lead by 2-0. That is the difference this year. We're going to score in virtually every game. If we can keep it tight at the back, we all know 2-0's the dodgiest scoreline to be a head bite in this year's FM. Hopefully, we can cement that place at the top and make sure the top 3 is a virtual certainty by January. We're coming up towards the hour mark. We've got a throw on the right with McDonough and Egan. Good ball in towards Ricky J. Jones. Headed away as far as Reed. I would quite like to get 3 or 4 up here because we've got to think about Tuesday and next Saturday, as I mentioned earlier. And if we can rest people for 25 minutes here or there, it could be the difference in some of those fixtures between 0 points and 1 point. As Swan releases Jones, keeper stays still. Manages to recover and save it though. The offside flag is eventually up, I think. But it's lovely football. Solihull not had a shot on goal. And our expected goals is above the 2 we've already got. As Brian Waugh playing out from the back with a free kick. Keeping an eye on the fitness levels, which are all right at the moment. Daly holds it up again to McGinley. Through towards Swan and Ricky J. Jones. That one's over the bar. It was offside again. This is exemplary stuff. I'm absolutely loving watching us at the minute. And that's the nicest thing I can say. We're going to take off McDonough at right back. I'm not worried about Farquharson because I can just bring in Gillespie in midweek. What I'm going to do though is bring on DJ Heath at right back. Straight swap between the 2 lone players. In midfield, normally it's Alidor Hamilton struggling, but he's been alright today. Arthur Reed's had a knock in the week, so I'm going to replace him with Graham Park. Again, just utilising the lone players. And then it's either Swan or Jones. Jones has got his goal, so let's give him a rest. On comes Stuart Parry, the youngster. A brilliant game, a brilliant performance, and now the youngster's getting a chance too. The sub-strikers doing the job at the top of League 2. And we've got 10 minutes left on the clock. The game's just sort of petered out, so as long as we don't create a grandstand finish, we're all right. They're pressing us high as Heath plays a 1-2 with Hamilton. Farquharson chips it up long towards Parry, who loses out in the air, and Jones has it at left back. Have we made those subs too early? Because down the left they come. Heath's beaten, the ball into Barnett, who's completely unmarked. Where on earth did McGinley go there? We're going to ask the lads to focus. I think we're going to change our fullbacks to defend here because we are struggling a little bit to keep them at bay. Can we get to stoppage time? Holding on is crucial. There are 3 minutes to go. We haven't had to do it an awful lot in recent weeks, but we are going to get the time wasting on because we just want to make sure we see out this game and get the 3 points. We're going to replace the box-to-box midfield role with ball winning on defence. The fullbacks are defensive already. And we'll even drop Swan in just as a sort of support player for now. I think that does the job. We're going to prevent short keeper distribution. That can come off. We're going to time waste. We're going to be disciplined. And in transition, we're going to slow it down. We'll still counter because we've got electric legs up front. But at the moment, we lead by 2-1 against a promotion rival. And we've just got to cling on through this corner. 92nd minute. Good header from Egan. He's a monster in the air. Blair gets it down though. 30 yards out. They get it into the box. It's a wonderful goal. And that's why you can never count yourself as done in League 2. Because it has been an excellent effort from Solihull Moors. They have fought back from 2 down. They've got a wonderful side at this level. And now, with 2 minutes of stoppage time to go, we'll go back to the old tactic, but I think, if anything, the momentum's with them. Hopefully, we can hold out and get the point, but not quite the dream finish we were hoping for. 2 minutes of stoppage time to go, and Barnett's double has saved Solihull from defeat. Well, there is the full-time whistle. A disappointing finish to a really good game, but it is the slight risk when you have to think about 3 games in a week, and we aren't still the perfect article when we've got those injuries out, so The fact that Arthur Reed couldn't do 90 was costly. The fact Malcolm's out of form might have been the same. Barnett, a very good player at this level. He's on 700 quid a week. He's a very good winger. And he's got quality in front of goal too. But that's a bit disappointing. We stay top of the league, but 7 points clear of Grimsby now. It's not going to be easy. It's not over yet. We're still in a very good position. It's 13 unbeaten in the league. That's since the Salford game on the 5th of September. Now let's have a look at the schedule for when we're next going to be back. And I think it's going to be that too. I know it's not that far in the future. But Morecambe and Grimsby is a massive episode. Northampton and Pompey are around there as well. So it will be 2 of those 4 games. We'll judge it based on where those teams are when we get to them. And what sort of form we're in as well. We'll hope to beat another struggling League One side in the FA Cup, but that will be with a slightly rotated side. If you did enjoy this episode though, a really good performance against Wigan, and a not bad one against Solihull, just an unfortunate finish. Please do put a thumbs up on it. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking for the season. Are we going to be able to maintain this form? Are we just injuries to Jones and Arthur Reed away from being a mid-table side again? That's my worry, I've got to be honest. With January, we'll hopefully be able to solve that. If you want to stay up to date and find out which it is, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. Daily videos from 2 long-term stories, including the head coach, which will be back tomorrow with Bristol City at the moment. We had transfer deadline day yesterday and a transfer special just before that. You can find those episodes in the eye above. There's also links there to the podcast channel where there should have been action from me at Boreham Wood v AFC Wimbledon yesterday, and to the Twitch channel for regular live streams too. You can find the schedule for the rest of January over on a Discord and on social media platforms. But a big thank you for watching. Your continued support as always. It is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you next time as we try to stay top of League 2 as we reach the halfway mark in the season. I'll see you there.